There's been many times where I've needed certain mounts for cameras and I just don't have one, or I don't want to go and spend the money it takes to buy one, because some of them can be extremely expensive. Now, all over Amazon there's tons of deals to where you can buy packages of different mounts for cameras, especially for GoPro, fairly cheap. And I'll link one of those in the description below to one of the packages I think is the best for buying an array of different mounts so that you can make your videos. But all in all, I have to come up with different ideas all the time, because let's face it, as often as I put out videos, it's like a full-time job, and I need to have different mounts for different cameras so that I can do what I need to do. Now, just to give you an idea, here's some of the basic mounts that I use. I use this Joby a lot. I use this clip mount a lot. Here's one that I made. It's just a flat mount. I took a piece of plexiglass and I cut it and rounded off the edges so it wasn't sharp, and then I just glued a clip onto it so I can quickly clip a camera on and off it. Now, for instance, here's the one for my GoPro Sessions that I use the most when I'm filming, and I need to switch this back and forth all the time or use different GoPros. I have 3 different GoPros. I have the Hero 5 Black, which I'm recording with now, my Sessions, and then the GoPro Hero Pro with the LCD screen. So I need to constantly be able to switch back and forth without having to unscrew these all the time. So I've made mounts, and what I've done with all the mounts I've made, I made sure they've all had a quick clip on it like this, so I can just pop the camera off one mount and put it on another. Now, the issue with a lot of mounts, or a lot of like tripods, clips, so on and so forth, they all come with an end like that, with the little, what they call the 1/4-inch drive screw to screw a camera on. And a lot of times people run these on the bottom of their GoPros, but then you have to screw it on, screw it off. So what I've done is I've gone online and I found these. They're made out of aluminum and they have the little screw hole in the bottom. So I've taken all of my mounts like this, or all of my tripods, so to speak, or certain clips, and I bought these to where they just screw on there, and then now they're on, and I can just quickly clip a camera on this one, take it off this one, put it on another one. I've also done the same with this. This is my main tripod. It has different extenders to go up and down. I can put it at all different heights just by quickly releasing this clip and extending it and then snapping it back into place. But I've done the same thing. I put one of them screw-on mounts on here so I can quickly clip on and off this one or go to another one. So one thing I've always wanted to do was make a mount that I can just quickly stick in the ground. Let me explain what I mean. There's a lot of times where I'm in a certain area where I want to mount a camera to get a certain shot, but there's nothing to clip it to. For instance, I can't use this because there's not a fence, a tree branch, whatever. There's just not something to clip this to. So I also at the same time don't want to bring the big tripod that sticks way out and is real noticeable if I'm in a spot where I don't want that tripod to be real noticeable or the whole camera set up, or I just don't want to carry that big tripod. So I'm looking for something that's more of like a mono stick, and I can just stick it in the ground anywhere I want, wherever I'm at. But I also don't want it to be real high up in the air so it's cumbersome and hard to carry if I'm on a mower and I'm driving to a certain area, and then that's where I want to stick it at, but I need to get over to that point, so I don't want to carry this big tripod with me. So this is what I've come up with. I'm going to take this piece of steel. It's hollow, it really doesn't matter. This piece of steel is exactly 2 foot long. Okay, so I'm going to take this 2-foot piece of steel tubing, and I'm going to cut a piece of this flat plate off, and I'm going to attach it to the top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld it right to the top, and then I will have this small, just 2-foot thin little piece, and I am going to glue one of these clips to the top of it. Now that way I can leave it on the footrest of the mower. I can pretty much put it anywhere I want, and when I get to where I want that shot, I can just take this thing, I can stick it down in the ground. It'll be up, you know, well, it's 2 foot. I'll put it 4 or 5 inches in the ground. It'll be just under 2 foot, and I'll have the camera attached to the top, which should allow me to get a great shot of whatever I'm trying to film. There will be many different ways you can do this. Like I said, I'm going to weld this onto there, but if you don't have access to a welder or you don't know how to weld, you can probably, I'm sure, just coat this thing with epoxy, some type of epoxy on the top, and then glue that to there and let it set up till it's nice and hardened up, and then it'll work just fine. So let's get into this. So that's it. Now I can just take this, nice and light, easy, like a baton, right? So now I can just take this, and with that point there, I can just stick it in the ground anywhere I want, no sharp edges, nothing that's gonna cut me, and I can just stick it in the ground and put my camera on it. I will take one of these mounts here. This is an old one I have, and I'll attach it right to the top. I can either use the adhesive that comes with them, or I'll probably just super glue it on there, because it's never going to come off anyway. It'll stay on here, and I can just take the camera in there and snap it in. Once it's snapped in there, you know, that'll be attached to it, and I can stick this anywhere I want it to get the shots that I need. So that's it. It's on there. I have it clamped in the vise right now. It was drying the rest of the way, but I painted it black, and the clip is on there. See if I can pull this thing out of here real quick. The GoPro will clip right on there. There's the length of it. Cut it at an angle at the end so it goes in the ground easier. Okay, there will be an upcoming video, I don't know when, maybe tomorrow, about mowers. A lot of people have been sending me questions on the videos and private messages asking me, how come I have a Ferris, a Great Dane, I have 2 walkers, I just went and bought a right stander, and before that I had a Tiger Cat, and they said, aren't you like loyal to any certain brand? And I'm really not. The reason I have so many different brands is because I need different mowers for different things. But as far as brand loyalty goes, that I gotta say, I'm not dedicated to any one brand, but I will make a full video on this, and I will tell you why. And you know, you gotta do what you gotta do for your business. There's loyalty is an overused word in my opinion, and as many of you can probably relate, loyalty in the past, personal and business, has kept me in a lot of situations that common sense should have taken me out of.